At the Market is underwritten by Citizens First and the St. Clair DDA.
Thanks and welcome to another edition of At the Market with Bryan Neiman. We've got Sue Hool and Anita Kerns from Sue's Coffee Shop. So, all right, welcome. Thank you so much for coming down today in absolutely beautiful downtown St. Clair. I mean, the weather is gorgeous. We've got a nice crowd out here again today. We've got all kinds of numbers in front of me here. So it goes 1, 2. So we can't make a mistake today. I'm pretty confident about that. I'm happy for you there. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So, and then we've got, I don't know where we're going over here, but there's all kinds of fun and exciting stuff that you guys do at the coffee shop. So without further ado, one more quick thing. Thank you to Scott Atkins for helping me out last week. I appreciate that. Did a great job. I know he probably has a lot more hits on YouTube than I've gotten so far, so good job, Scott. So, all right, well, Sue's Coffee House. What are we making? What are we doing? And what's going on? And I promise I won't move the numbers around.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We are making a butternut squash soup with bacon and apples, and that's a great soup to make this time of year because the butternut squash, all squashes are in, and so are all our apples are in season. And what's great about that is if you use fresh produce and things that are in season at the time, you do wind up with a really good product no matter what you make. And Sue and Pat do insist at the coffee house that all our ingredients be top-notch quality and in season. Makes my job easier, and I'm able to put out a really good product.
Well, it looks, I mean, we've been sitting here cooking up bacon for a while before we got started, and who doesn't like bacon?
That's right.
That's great. Well, I'll tell you what, well, as you get going, we'll get into this, and Sue, you've got all kinds of fun stuff over here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it? But the first thing I got to do is ask the aprons. This is the first group that has aprons.
Well, a little naked there.
I don't feel like I'm part of the team.
Well, we brought you one.
All right. Well, that's nice.
We sell these at the coffee shop.
You sell these at the coffee shop. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we'll put that one over there. It's the first time I've undressed for this show, so it's a little nerve-wracking.
It's fitting.
Nice. Oh, this is my color, too.
It's a little
pockets.
Fall theme, I guess.
Yeah. All right.
And we make these homemade. They're designer, one of a kind.
Okay.
And we sell them for $18. My mom sews them up. She's out there in the audience.
Thanks,
right
Mom.
now.
Do I look all right? I do it justice? All right.
Much better.
All right, great. Good deal. Well, these are really neat. That's a lot of fun. Good deal. Well, before we change my shirt and shoes or anything else, why don't we move into what you've got over here while she's cooking up? And when you jump to number 2,
we're ready.
We're ready for 2?
Uh-huh.
Well, let's go to 2.
Okay,
we'll
so we have the bacon sauteing, and then we're going to do number 2, which is all of the veggies, which we have carrot, celery, onion, bay leaf, and the spices. And we're going to go ahead and saute that. And then what you want to do is with the bacon, you want to pull some aside because we're going to also top the soup with the cooked bacon. And so right now we're going to just saute all of the veggies and all of the spices in here with our bacon.
What kind of spices did you use?
Well, I used pumpkin pie spice.
Oh, really?
But you could use curry, you could use ginger. You could pretty much, use whatever you want, or just no spice at all. And you don't have to use bacon. So if you want to do a vegetarian type of soup, you definitely can omit the bacon. And like I said, you want to pull some bacon aside just so that you can top the soup with it. Or you don't even have to do that because we do top it with the bacon and the sour cream. You could just do sour cream if you like.
Good. Well, Sue, tell us, you've got all kinds of neat stuff over here. The shop, I mean, Sue's Coffee House is just great. I love it to death. I love going in there. Service is wonderful. But you got there's millions of things to do in there. Tell us a little bit about what you got.
Right. Well, in the middle of the coffee house, we have a cigar shop.
Okay.
And the cigars are hand-picked, and they are tested by a group of great guys that are connoisseurs of cigars.
Now, how do you get that job? That's that's my question. How do you get that job?
Well, you have to come in and meet Pat and buddy up with him.
That's right.
And also, we do have some vanilla-flavored and mocha-flavored cigars for the ladies. We've actually had some ladies come in there, too.
Really?
There's a flat-screen TV in there to watch the big game, and all kinds of fun for the man cave. That's what we call it.
Everybody likes to go to the man cave. Yep. That's right. Well, awesome. Now, I've been to the shop. I've had wine, but this is really neat. What do you got going on here with the label and stuff?
That's a custom-made label that we made for a girl's wedding. She gave those out as favors at the tables, like to every couple that came.
Okay.
And we can do the bigger bottles too, but this is nice for a favor. And we don't charge any extra for the label because we want you to buy our wine. And we do make all the wine ourselves. We have a small winemaker seller's license and a small beer maker seller's license. So we make the wine and the beer.
So all the beer that is served there and beer and wine, you guys make yourself.
Right. We can't sell any other beer. We have
Okay.
to sell only what we make.
Right. And well, are you ready for 3, or can we go?
No, I'm ready for
You're ready for
3.
3. Sue, hang on. We're gonna go to 3. She looks like they're numbers. We don't want to mess them up. Right. So what's number 5? I mean 3. I don't know.
So 3 would be the apples, and
Okay.
I use Granny Smith because we want to get all these things in here to saute with the olive oil. And so that's why we haven't put it in the soup pot yet, because we want to get a nice caramelization and stir all these ingredients together before we actually turn it into soup. So now we're going to add some of our garlic.
Sue, pay attention. She was snappy.
And the reason we don't add that ahead of time is because we don't want it to burn and then it becomes too bitter. So, you know, the soup is just a matter of steps and sauteing, and each step will end up, you know, with a really good product. If you take the time to saute all these items individually, it'll be a much better tasting soup for you in the end. And this is also our butternut squash.
Okay.
And this is what it looks like before it's peeled and seeded and cubed. And you want to go ahead and do that, put it in a pan in the oven, drizzled with olive oil, some salt and pepper, and cook it at 375 for about 30 minutes till fork tender. And of course that depends on how small the cubes are to how quick it's going to cook. So at this point, let's pretend all of this is sauteed and caramelized. And so then you would want to change everything over it and put it into a soup pot.
Now, how long does it normally take to caramelize all that stuff and put it all together?
The slower the better.
Okay.
You know, if you rush it, you're just going to burn everything.
Okay.
So caramelizing would be more of a taupey color to your product.
Okay.
And so really it is worth taking the time to do all these steps.
Sure. Okay. Well, that looks great.
So then we're going to add now is some of our apple cider and chicken stock.
Apple cider and chicken stock.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's just going to enhance the apple flavor, and it's also going to make the butternut squash a little sweeter.
Okay.
Because it's going to reduce a little bit and intensify in flavor. And at this point, you're going to want to simmer it at low for a little bit, and then you will want to add your butternut squash that is already cooked. And at this point, because you sauteed all the veggies and the butternut squash is cooked, it's just a matter of letting everything simmer at low for a while so that all the ingredients kind of hang out and just get to tasting really good. So let's pretend that this has all been hanging out for a while, and then
ta-da!
you would get the boat motor out,
Holy smokes.
which is this little thing here.
I was
Big
just joking
thing.
about the numbers. It wasn't that.
And this is what would combine it
That's why you wear
and
an apron.
puree it, exactly.
Puree. Okay. And so you just now you could do it. You could do that right in there.
Well,
is that how you normally do
that's
it?
why we would use these. It's actually called an immersion blender.
Okay.
You can buy these online, but I call it the boat motor because everyone's like, what sounds like a boat motor? And it's this. And it blends it all. Otherwise, if you don't have this, you could definitely put the soup into a food processor or blender. Just you have to be really careful because it is hot.
Sure.
That you're putting in there.
Yep. Okay.
And this just eliminates that step.
Great.
And once that's all blended, you would want to then top it off with a little bit of nutmeg, or
Right.
if you chose ginger, just because that punches up the flavor. It has it cooked in there, and
Right.
it just adds a new dimension to it.
Fantastic, fantastic. Meet me at the market next week where my guest will be Brian Depew from St. Clair, Coney Island.
At the Market is underwritten by Citizens First and the St. Clair DDA.